You wanted to mention something about 9/11, like oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. So, I think I have a unique vantage point when it comes to conspiracy theories and like who believes in them and why. So it was a couple of years after college. I got a call from my folks saying that they're splitting up. Well, I mean, my dad called and said that he was leaving and that the marriage was over. And I was kind of living my best life in Minneapolis, and I had a lot of great friends, and I was doing cool stuff all the time. I was really happy. So I had this one thing, this like very fundamental thing, kind of drive a dagger in, and I guess I could say I saw it coming a long way off. But living 10 hours from home, I didn't really have to see it every day as often as my brother did, who was younger than me. Still, it felt like it was very distant, like I was on a Mars mission and I was getting some message that was from like a month ago being like, oh. And so it was really hard to process. And I was like thinking that I was like kind of okay with it and like accepting of it. But I think that it rocked me maybe harder than I knew. Because I was like, okay, every time I go home, it's going to be very different. I'm not going to see my whole family under the same roof again. And it made me sad in a way that I didn't even know yet. And it was just about that time, me and my guys in my band, we were all roommates too, kind of best friends. We just spent all the time together. We were like the monkeys, we were all in the same apartment. We hang out with nobody else except for us. But we got this drummer. He was kind of this older guy, had like been in the military, and his life seemed like it was kind of on the skids. I didn't really know a whole lot about him, but like he introduced us to Alex Jones. I didn't become a real big Alex Jones heads or anything. I think I caught a couple of clips of
what year Alex Jones are we talking about?
This is like 2007, 2008.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. And so like 9/11 Truth was his big thing, it was an inside job. And,
7-Eleven was a part-time job.
Yeah. If you just look at the details, it all adds up. And, we were attacked from within. It was a false flag operation. I think that like with everything else being really uncertain in my life, it was really comforting to like be like on the inside track about one big thing. 9/11 happened my first week of college. Like, wow. I think it was like almost exactly a week after being there. And so, a good friend of mine who is in my band, who I actually like, we bonded that day because he's like half Afghani. He was like, oh crap, the shit's really coming for me. Like, brown people everywhere are going to be targeted. Like we sort of like bonded and, just spent a lot of time together. We ended up becoming really, really close friends. He's a really, really, really smart guy. Like, I mean, he can kind of do that thing where if you're like a reporter and you're interviewing somebody and you kind of just like let someone talk and you keep answering sort of like leading questions, whether or not you agree with it or not, he kind of did that to this drummer. And so like, the more he asked, like the more the guy would just keep talking about it. So my friend, who I thought was like, incredibly sharp-minded, he began to like really get into it too. And I think that he also was coming from a unhealed wound.
The one who showed you Alex Jones?
No. The friend from, I guess they were both in my band, but let's call him the guitarist.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was, digging pretty deep into what the drummer was saying, and he was kind of getting kind of roped into it too. And then so it's like, well, if he's believing this, then God, maybe there really is something to it. Fast forward to like a couple years later, and I sort of like, believed that the 9/11 was definitely an inside job, and like that I knew down to the timeline of like, when they switched the planes and when they planted the explosives. And and so I was dating a girl whose parents were both material scientists.
Oh.
Each one of them had 2 PhDs. They'd like gotten a PhD in Europe and then come to the US and gotten another PhD.
Right.
And they were both actively working in their field. And so I was having a really heated argument about them the melting point of steel.
Oh boy.
They were like hitting me with science, and I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. So I wish I could say that was the moment that like I was like, expert testimony here. I don't know if there was a catalyzing moment. I just like woke up and like looked at like the way that like these beliefs had been like influencing new friendships, old friendships, and like whether the preponderance of evidence was more on one side or the other.
What did you think happened with the planes, like, specifically?
Like you mean like in the conspiracy world?
Yeah. Like you could just as easily believe that there were passenger planes, you know, that that flew right into the World Trade Center. You know, what's another, 200 dead people, right? But you said you believe that they switched the planes.
I think I believed more that that the planes had just been loaded with like maybe some extra explosives, like something that was kind of like more for cutting steel or something at the front of the plane. Yeah, some people think that's like, oh, they actually were rerouted to Dulles and they were switched and they used nerve gas on all the passengers and they quietly disposed of all the bodies. And then they had these basically converted missiles were painted to look like planes. It's like that seemed like an unnecessary step.
Yeah, that does seem, because it's just like, couldn't you just like fill the plane itself full of you know what, this is probably going to get YouTube flagged. Like, if we keep
I know.
Theoretically, hypothetically, okay,
for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, in a hypothetical terrorist situation, okay, FBI guy watching this channel, even though it's got like 26 subscribers. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah.
I think I came up with eventually, like, there were probably some strange things that happened that day that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But
I mean, frankly, I think Building 7 is freaking weird. You know, yeah, that's one thing I can't really get over. And then also just like the 9/11 Commission report being like, we investigated ourselves and we found nothing wrong. It's like, well, can you show us? And no, so it's like little things like that are, I mean, they're probably explainable in some like scientific way, and maybe there's like some completely different reason that we can't see the 9/11 Commission report. But I don't know. Anyway.
I was so certain. I felt like I had details. Like I had a working understanding of how it went down. It kind of came with a lot of other things in life, just like maybe getting a little bit older, just kind of wanting more evidence for the things I believed in. And so certainly suspicions will like kind of guide you in one direction, and feeling will kind of guide you in another direction. But it wasn't clear on the table. And I knew that it was never going to be clear on the table, but like having a belief like that like could like lead me down such a deep, dark hole and like, question everything. It's like, this is going to make me a different kind of person instead of like maybe kind of a scientifically minded person who is like still looking for evidence, still looking for things, but like not turning my entire identity into a person who is like fixed on a thing. And I think that's helped me live the rest of my life too, in kind of a little bit more evidence-based kind of way.
I see. So instead of like a 9/11 atheist, you're like a 9/11 agnostic.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat with there's like very bizarre things where it's like you have to believe either the government's like extremely incompetent or has like some weird plan, and sometimes it's one, but you know what? Like sometimes it's the other.
Yeah. There's that old line of questioning investigators use. Qui bono. You know that one?
I don't. What's qui bono?
It's Latin for who benefits. Looking for motive.
You know what? I've seen that written down, but I've never actually heard somebody pronounce that.
I may have mispronounced it too, because it's one that I've mainly seen written. Yeah, I think it's CUI.
It's it's the epitome of those types of words.
Yes, it was very suspicious that Halliburton made a lot of money off of the events unfolding after 9/11, but I'm sure there were many more.
Like, why?
So many who we will never know their name. But as far as seeing it as like one coordinated thing, I don't think people are good enough at coordinating anything to have there be zero leaks, zero witnesses,
right.
Zero whistleblowers, like nothing come to the surface.
Right. I feel a little bit like it depends on what they're trying to accomplish. You know, I mean, clearly, like high-speed rail in California, that's going to take, you know, years and years and years of like negotiation with, you know, two parties that are just so on opposing sides of each other. But, you know, they can put flock cameras all over the place, no problem, which is very interesting. Is there a conspiracy theory that you do believe in?
That I would just like wholeheartedly believe. I mean, I believe in greed. I believe that greed is everywhere and that there are some people who have just a psychological feeling of like accumulation, like that I think some people are addicted to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gone on to build a system that just kind of inherently traps resources. That happens in our economy quite a bit.